have a story to tell, and that's what I wanted to do through this album. Now I love with social media, I get to hear what people actually really think, because I didn't know how the world was going to react. But ever since I've told my story, it's just...
There are those moments in celebrity history when the whole internet freezes, leans forward, and whispers, "Hold on, did she really just say that?" That is exactly what happened when an old interview of Paris Hilton suddenly resurfaced online, an interview where she briefly mentioned people who act innocent, yet know exactly what happens on private islands. She didn't name anyone. She didn't hint at the direction of anyone, but names weren't needed by the internet. In less than minutes, social feeds blew up with that very claim. She is talking about Kim. Edits on TikTok arrived in floods on timelines. Threads multiplied. Meme pages added dramatic music and red circles around Paris's every facial micro-expression.
I think that's really just changed the game as well, because people could just look on people's Instagrams and see things that would have been only, caught by Paps before.
It becomes fuel. It becomes a seed of a narrative millions are eager to construct from fragments. The Epstein Island scandal, one of the darkest, most disturbing cases of the last decade, featuring real victims, real arrests, and real investigations. In the years that followed, though, it had mutated into the internet's favorite template for baseless celebrity rumors, a celebrity photographed next to a billionaire. They were on the list. An influencer on a private jet, suspicious. A vague line in an interview. They are secretly exposing everyone. This is how rumor culture works today. Everything becomes connected, even when nothing is. So when Paris's metaphorical private islands comment resurfaced, it collided with Epstein-related discussions instantly. Not because she ever referenced Epstein. She didn't. Not because it became a symbol, a sort of shorthand for corruption and wealth and secrecy. People stopped differentiating between metaphorical island references and literal ones. And overnight, Paris Hilton became the accidental whistleblower of a theory she never even mentioned. In this environment, the rumor about Paris Hilton spread like wildfire. People stopped asking for sources. People started sharing screenshots without context. And very quickly, perception became stronger than truth. Fans began digging for receipts. But in internet gossip, a receipt doesn't have to be real. It only has to feel real. Suddenly, old photos of Paris and Kim from 2006 were proof. Clips of them getting on private jets became suspicious. Random party snapshots with wealthy people became...
People were like, "Oh, she's a girl.
None of it had anything to do with Epstein.
She's rich. Like, she can't do this."
And you don't have that pressure
Some accounts
of
even
having
went as
to
far
live
as
up
creating
to,
whole timelines of fabricated
when I
events,
hosted SNL,
fitting mismatch pieces like a jigsaw
I had never
puzzle.
seen it.
Paris at a photo shoot, Kim at a gala, a plane in the background of a paparazzi shot. To rumor creators, everything was evidence, even when nothing connected. This is how misinformation gets manufactured. Half-truths, cropped images, dramatic captions, and TikTok voiceovers that sound authoritative but cite zero sources. It isn't journalism. It is improvisational theater with screenshots. Confidence becomes credibility. Edits become proof. Vibes become facts. To understand how this rumor got out of control, we have to go back to the 17-second clip that started it. Paris was talking about Hollywood culture, how some people act polished in public while behaving wildly behind closed doors. Her line, "Some girls act clean, but they know exactly what happens on private islands," was vague, metaphorical, casual. The interviewer didn't bat an eyelid. Paris continued speaking as normal. There was no awkwardness. There was no subtext. There was no link to Epstein. But TikTok and Twitter and all the rest don't want the interview. They want the 17 seconds. Because in the viral world, context isn't lost. It is deleted. Editors trimmed the clip, added ominous music, slapped captions like, "Paris finally confirms everything." And suddenly she was at the center of a conspiracy she never even acknowledged. Users scrutinized her blink rate, her half smile, the tiny pause before she finished her sentence. They overlaid Kim's pictures, nightclub videos, even unrelated headlines, which suddenly created a visual link that never existed. This is how online rumors become truth, not through evidence, but through emotionally convincing storytelling. Before hashtags, scandals, or viral theories, it was just Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian, two girls in oversized sunglasses walking into every major nightclub, like they owned the world. Paris was the superstar. Kim was her assistant, the quiet one holding the bags, tagging along, absorbing the glow of the spotlight. Their friendship wasn't simply personal, it was strategic. Paris provided the visibility, Kim provided the loyalty. Eventually, Kim became the global brand, the empire builder, the pop culture titan, and though both women stayed publicly gracious, fans always sensed a subtle tension beneath the surface. This history matters because the internet loves a storyline. When the resurfaced clip went viral, people connected dots backwards. Old sarcasm became coded messages. A friendly joke turned into secret shade. A harmless comment became a hidden confession. This is where gossip becomes mythology. Parasocial culture convinces people they can read celebrities, that they understand their expressions, their pauses, their micro reactions. A raised eyebrow becomes a warning. A laugh becomes sarcasm. A silence becomes guilt. Clips completely unrelated to island rumors were re-edited with eerie music to fit a story fans wanted to believe, because the human brain hates ambiguity. It wants patterns, it wants villains, it wants drama, and if there is none, it creates one. Paris didn't expose Kim. Kim didn't respond. Neither woman participated in the rumor, but the internet assigned Paris the role of whistleblower simply because the story needed one. The internet waited for Kim Kardashian's reaction when her name got dragged into the rumor, but she said nothing. She didn't address the clip. She didn't deny the theory. She didn't comment on the narrative. In celebrity culture, silence is rarely seen as neutrality. It is seen as hiding something. But the truth is simpler. Celebrities ignore baseless conspiracies because responding makes them bigger. Kim has dealt with thousands of wild claims. This was just another wave of noise, but for the online rumor mill, her silence became a clue. Suddenly, people began searching her travel history, friendship statements, none of which connected to Epstein in any factual way. But the internet doesn't run on facts, it runs on emotion. And few celebrities trigger stronger emotional reactions than Kim Kardashian. By the time it reached its peak, the facts didn't matter anymore. Not what Paris said, not what Kim never did, not the fact that the Epstein case had nothing to do with either woman. What mattered was the vibe, the feeling of a scandal. This documentary provides insight into how online culture turns speculation into reality. Repetition sounds like evidence. Aesthetic edits feel like facts, confident narration feels like truth, and a dramatic clip feels like a confession. This was never a story about Paris exposing Kim, but rather about the internet exposing its obsession with scandal. For as long as the gossip culture continues, these types of stories will keep spreading. If you like real context, real analysis, and real breakdowns of how online narratives form and twist, hit subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below.